Most people trying to protect their memory are focused on supplements, sleep, and diet. And those things matter. But almost nobody is talking about the one variable that affects how your brain functions within 20 minutes of waking up, and that most people over 60 are getting completely wrong every single day. It is not a pill. It is not a protocol. It is water. But not the way you think. That mental slowness in the morning, the word that disappears before you can say it, the name you should know, the thought that slips before you can hold it. You may have assumed that was aging, or genetics, or just how things are now. You are not imagining it, and it is not inevitable. Here is what most people are never told. The way you hydrate, not how much, but when, how, and with what, determines whether your brain cells have the environment they need to communicate clearly, or whether they are quietly shrinking, slowing, and accumulating the very proteins linked to Alzheimer's disease. That changes today. My name is Dr. Gloria Reed. I am a neuroscientist and nutritional neuroscience specialist with over 2 decades studying how lifestyle variables, the ones most people overlook, directly shape cognitive aging. I have seen the research on this topic for years, and I have watched it be consistently left out of standard patient education. Before I explain the mechanism behind what is happening in your brain, I want to give you something you can use today, right now. No cost, no products. Here is the action. Tomorrow morning, before coffee, before food, before anything else, drink 16 ounces of room temperature water with a small pinch of sea salt and a squeeze of fresh lemon. Here is why this specific combination works differently than plain water. The sodium in the salt is the primary electrolyte your neurons use for electrical signaling. Without adequate sodium in the fluid surrounding your brain cells, the signals slow down. The lemon provides potassium, which works alongside sodium to maintain the electrical gradient across cell membranes. Together, these 2 minerals do something plain water alone cannot. They open the hydration pathway specifically into brain tissue, not just into general circulation. Most people drink water and hydrate their muscles. This combination hydrates the brain. The instruction is simple. 16 ounces, room temperature, not cold, with a pinch of sea salt and half a lemon squeezed in. Do this before your first coffee, before your first meal. This is not optional as a warm-up. This is the step that primes your brain cells for everything that follows in the next 16 hours. Keep that in mind, because when I show you the full protocol later, this piece is what makes everything else work. Most people believe that if they were seriously dehydrated, they would feel it. They would feel thirsty. Their mouth would be dry. Their body would send a signal. And that is not entirely wrong. But here is the part that changes everything, and that almost nobody explains. After 60, the hypothalamus, the part of your brain that monitors and regulates your body's hydration levels, becomes measurably less sensitive. It stops sending accurate thirst signals, which means you can be operating at a significant fluid deficit for hours before your body generates any sensation of thirst at all. By the time you feel the urge to drink, you have often been dehydrated since before you woke up. The villain here is not dramatic dehydration, it is chronic mild dehydration. Silent, gradual, invisible, and specifically damaging to the brain. The brain is 73% water. A reduction of just 1 to 2% of total body water, an amount so small you would never detect it, causes measurable reductions in short-term memory, word retrieval speed, and cognitive processing. These are not theoretical projections from lab models. These are performance reductions documented in people sitting at desks, going about their day, who had no idea they were dehydrated. And the damage compounds over time. Every day your brain operates in a state of mild fluid deficit. Cell membranes become more rigid. Electrical signals between neurons slow. The cerebrospinal fluid that normally circulates around and through your brain, flushing waste products out, becomes more concentrated. Less flow, less clearance, more build-up. That build-up has a name, and we will get to exactly what it means in a moment. Before we go further, have you been drinking water consistently throughout the day and still feeling mentally foggy or slow? Comment yes or no below. I want to know, because what comes next is specifically for you if your answer is yes. Think of your brain cells the way you would think of grapes. A well-hydrated neuron is plump, flexible, its membrane fluid and responsive. Electrical signals move through it efficiently, the kind of sharp, fast transmission that lets you retrieve a word the instant you need it, hold a thought through a full sentence, remember what you walked into a room to do. A dehydrated neuron is like a raisin, shrunken, stiff. The membrane has lost its flexibility. Signals slow down, distort, and sometimes fail to complete their path at all. And unlike a raisin you can see on your kitchen counter, you cannot feel this happening inside your skull. It has no pain signal. No visible symptom in the first months or years, just gradual cognitive dulling that most people attribute to age. The specific biological structure responsible for getting water into your brain cells is called an aquaporin channel, a protein gate embedded in the cell membrane that controls water entry. Research published in the journal Frontiers in Cellular Neuroscience by Dr. Marios Papadopoulos and colleagues at University College London demonstrated that aquaporin 4 channels, the primary water transport proteins in brain tissue, become significantly less responsive with age. This means that even when you drink adequate amounts of water, your brain cells may not be absorbing it efficiently. The water is in your bloodstream. It is not getting through the gate. This is not a minor efficiency loss. When aquaporin function is impaired, neurons operate in a state of persistent, mild dehydration, even in people who consider themselves well hydrated. And in that state, everything the brain does takes more effort. Word retrieval, sustained attention, short-term memory encoding, the kind of clear thinking you rely on for daily function. Here is the practical consequence. The word that vanishes mid-sentence, the name you reach for and cannot find. This is often not a memory storage problem. The memory may be there. The transmission pathway is compromised. The signal is not completing. This is not a metaphor. This is membrane physiology. And it is available to you starting tomorrow morning for the cost of a pinch of salt. Now, here is the mechanism that almost nobody discusses in the context of daily hydration. And it is the one with the most direct connection to Alzheimer's risk. Your brain produces metabolic waste continuously. Among that waste is a protein fragment called beta amyloid, the same protein that accumulates into the plaques found in Alzheimer's disease. Under normal conditions, beta amyloid is cleared from the brain through the glymphatic system, a network of fluid channels that flushes waste out during sleep and, to a lesser degree, throughout the day, through cerebrospinal fluid circulation. Here is the mechanism most people are never shown. When you are chronically mildly dehydrated, cerebrospinal fluid volume decreases and its viscosity increases. Think of it like a river that is running low. When water levels drop, the current slows. The sediment that would normally be carried downstream begins to settle. In your brain, that sediment is beta amyloid, concentrating in the spaces between neurons, pooling where the current is weakest, and over time, aggregating into the structures that precede cognitive decline. A landmark study published in Science in 2019 by Dr. Laura Lewis and colleagues at Boston University used MRI imaging to demonstrate that cerebrospinal fluid pulses, the waves that move waste products including beta amyloid out of the brain, are directly correlated with hydration and sleep quality. When either is compromised, clearance decreases measurably. The study showed that even one night of poor sleep with associated dehydration produced detectable reductions in CSF clearance efficiency. This is the connection that changes the conversation about hydration. Drinking water is not just about not feeling thirsty. It is about maintaining the fluid volume your brain needs to run its own cleaning system, the system that is your primary biological defense against the accumulation of Alzheimer's-linked proteins. These two mechanisms, aquaporin-mediated cellular dehydration and beta-amyloid concentration in cerebrospinal fluid, do not work in isolation. They feed each other. When cells are dehydrated, they draw fluid from the extracellular space, further reducing the cerebrospinal fluid available for clearance. When clearance is reduced, beta-amyloid concentrations rise, which increases neuroinflammation, which further impairs cellular function. It is a cycle. And structured, mineralized hydration is one of the few daily behaviors that interrupts it at both points simultaneously. Do not count coffee toward your hydration. Coffee is a diuretic. For every cup, add 8 ounces of compensatory water, separate from your 4 windows. Do not drink ice-cold water, especially in the morning. Do not drink a large volume in one sitting and consider the day handled. What to expect? By day 7, morning mental clarity arrives sooner. The fog that used to take an hour to lift begins clearing within 20 to 30 minutes of waking. Word retrieval starts to feel slightly less effortful, not dramatic, but real. By day 14, the afternoon cognitive drop that you may have stopped noticing because it became your baseline begins to recede. Thinking feels more consistent across the whole day, not sharp in the morning and sluggish by 3. By day 30, people around you may notice something before you name it. Conversations feel more fluid. The pause before a name or word gets shorter, and the background, low-level mental fatigue that you may have been carrying for months, that quiet heaviness behind your eyes, begins to lift. Remember what I said at the beginning of this video, that almost nobody is looking at the one variable affecting brain function within 20 minutes of waking up. By day 14, you will understand exactly why I opened with that, because the change is that fast and that specific. 3 additional factors that amplify everything this protocol does. Each one takes less than 10 minutes. Before I walk you through exactly how to do this, I want to be direct with you. What I am describing is not a replacement for medical care. If you are on medication, especially diuretics, blood pressure medication, or anything that affects kidney or fluid balance, speak to your doctor before changing your hydration practice significantly. What this is an evidence-supported, low-risk, daily behavior that works alongside what you are already doing. Before I give you the full protocol, I need to show you the mistake that cancels everything. Most people, when they hear that hydration matters for brain health, do one thing. They start drinking more water. Large amounts, sometimes a full litre first thing in the morning. And they see no improvement. Or worse, they feel worse. In the next video, I'm going to show you something that will change how you think about a very common daily habit. One that millions of people over 60 do every day, without knowing it is quietly working against their memory. You do not want to miss that one. Your brain is not broken, it adapted. And when you give it what it needs, it adapts back. Not instantly, but reliably. I will see you in the next one. By day 30, people around you may notice something before you name it. Conversations feel more fluid. The pause before a name or word gets shorter. And the background, low-level mental fatigue that you may have been carrying for months, that quiet heaviness behind your eyes, begins to lift. Remember what I said at the beginning of this video, that almost nobody is looking at the one variable affecting brain function within 20 minutes of waking up. By day 14, you will understand exactly why I opened with that, because the change is that fast and that specific. 3 additional factors that amplify everything this protocol does. Each one takes less than 10 minutes.